Members, I now call to order the meeting of the panel on education. Let us proceed to the election of the chairman, office of the chairman. The secretary issued a circular to inform members that only one valid nomination for the office of chairman had been received. The nominee is Professor Chow Man Kong. The nomination was made by Mr. Stanley and seconded by Mr. Kenneth Leung. Because Professor Chow Man Kong is not a chairman or deputy chairman of another panel or any relevant government advisory bodies, in accordance with the rules of procedure and the House rules, I declare Professor Chow Man Kong elected as the chairman of the panel. Congratulations, Man Kong. Yes, Dr. Chi Yun. Chairman, well, ex-chairman, you did not participate in the election of the chairman. I would like to thank you for acting as the chairman of the panel. You have done good work in the past year. Thank you very much. Thank you. Colleagues, Happy New Year. I would like to thank you all for your support and trust. I would also like to thank Professor Priscilla Leung for her contribution to the panel in the past few years. We will now proceed with the election of the office of Deputy Chairman. The Secretary issued a circular to inform members that only one valid nomination for the office of Deputy Chairman had been received. The nominee is Mr. Dennis Leung. The nomination was made by Dr. Simon Lee and seconded by Mr. Kenneth Leung. Because Mr. Dennis Leung is not a chairman or a deputy chairman of another panel or any relevant government advisory bodies in accordance with the rules of procedure and the House rules, I declare Mr. Dennis Leung elected as the deputy chairman of the panel. Right. Let's move on to the second agenda item. Schedule of meetings for the 2025 session. I refer members to the proposed schedule of meetings before you. I suggest that we follow the arrangements of the last session to have regular meetings on the first Friday of each month at 10:45 in the morning. However, for the regular meeting in March, because there are the two sessions early March, we may make adjustments, and the Secretariat will report to members in due course on this issue. All right, we also have another meeting on 4th of April, supposedly, but because that is Qingming Festival, so we will hold a meeting on 31st of March at 2:30 p.m. the day before. Excuse me, a few days before that. I now ask members to refer to the list of outstanding items for discussion, CB brackets 320/2025 brackets 01, and the list of follow-up actions, CB brackets 320/2025 brackets 02. The next regular meeting will be held at 10:45 in the morning on 7th of February, a Friday. The administration proposes to discuss the following items: 1. Upholding teachers' professional conduct, and 2. A public works project number 3372 EP, a primary school with 30 classrooms in the northern part of Area 89 in Tongcheng. Do members agree to discuss the two items at the next regular meeting? If members agree, let's move on to the discussion of the next agenda item. I believe members would like to propose some items for discussion for the session. If you wish to propose items for discussion, please press the request to speak button. I'll assign a 10-minute time limit, so members please be brief. First to speak, Ms. Lillian Kwok. Thank you, Chair. we have seen here at the panel on education meetings before, members have discussed multiple issues, and there are multiple outstanding items for discussion on the list, especially with vocational and professional education and training. I also want to discuss the qualification framework courses. With the QF courses, we need to really see if there is a balance, the requirements, and how it can tie in with the development of FEPAD. I hope that we can discuss this issue in this session. Now, also on mental health of students and the counseling system in schools. We have the 3-tiered emergency support mechanism, and I propose, as I did before, we should discuss this issue. Another issue that we should discuss is probably the management of international schools and private schools. We are trying to establish a brand to study in Hong Kong, and we need to definitely manage the development of international and private schools to make sure we can tie in with that goal. Thank you. Dr. Teck Chi-yuen. I hope to propose 3 items for discussion. 1, the mental health issue, as Ms. Lillian Kwok said. We have the 3-tiered emergency support mechanism, and it has been enhanced. I want to know the progress, the effectiveness of the enhanced mechanism. We also have the 4R charter. We have quite a lot of schools participating in the charter. I want to know about the effectiveness and what the schools think about the implementation of the charter. We have also seen recently some schools closing of their own accord, and then they would work with school-sponsored bodies to establish other schools, so they would become private schools before they were subsidized or aided schools, and they would charge higher fees, and they may not provide adequate support to students. So I want to see what the administration is going to do about it in future. Next, on admission of students in secondary schools, we do understand that in the next 2 years, some secondary schools would really have difficulty admitting adequate students, and schools may close down, and that is going to be bad morale for the staff members. So we need to really talk about this. Thank you. Mr. Chu Kwok Keung, we have 17 proposed items for discussion, and 8 of them were proposed by me in the list of outstanding items for discussion. Some of the topics were raised as early as in January 2022, and we are in the last year of our term. I really want to discuss these topics that I propose. With the improved relationship between the executive and the legislature, I hope the chairman can work with the Education Bureau to, apart from discussing the budgets and reports to be made by administration, we should really discuss the items on the list of outstanding items for discussion. I would also like to propose 2 additional items for discussion. 1, school counselors and development of counseling system in schools. Now, with the students with special needs, we also need to provide some support of life planning to them, and I would like to discuss this issue. All right, thank you, Mr. Chu. Next to speak, Professor William Wong. Thank you, Chair. In the policy address, it is said that we would establish a steering committee to promote digital education, and it would support teachers to make use of AI in education. I propose that we should discuss the development of digital education in the list of outstanding items of discussion in order to enhance public awareness in this area. Next, we are trying to build Hong Kong into an international education hub. And we also have a subcommittee in particular to discuss this issue. So I suggest that we should add an agenda item for the subcommittee to report on the progress on building Hong Kong into an international education hub. Well, since we already have a subcommittee on this, we may need to discuss with the Education Bureau on the way forward. Thank you, Mrs. Regina Ip. We do have a subcommittee for the development of Hong Kong into an international education hub, but I think we should discuss this issue at this panel as well, because this is an important issue. We have 80 odd hectares in the northern metropolis reserved for the northern metropolis university's town. And if we are only thinking about it from a business perspective, universities may admit more students that will bring them the biggest revenue. I think we really need to be clear about positioning, and we should discuss positioning at this panel. I agree. I think the issue is quite complex, and we should have an in-depth discussion about this. Thank you, Mrs. A. Next to speak, Dr. David Lam. Thank you. I want to say that for vaccines to be applied in schools with the program, can we encourage schools to have students get the vaccines before the peak of the flu season? Also, we talked about for CPR and the use of defibrillators, AEDs. If we can include it in the junior secondary or senior secondary curriculum, so that we would have more people know how to perform first aid or CPR or the use of AED. I know that the Fire Services Department is in support of this. Next, on Chinese medicine, history, theory, lifestyle, and the stories on Chinese medicine, if we can include this in the primary school curriculum or even the kindergarten curriculum so as to enhance awareness of the Chinese medicine profession, it would be great. It would also help students appreciate Chinese culture a little better. And I've been calling for this for a long time. I don't see that happen still, so I hope that we can discuss this. Thank you. Professor Priscilla Leung. We did talk about promoting digital education, and of course we attach great importance to digital education. On management of education in AI and how to use AI in education, we need to talk about ethics, we need to talk about the rule of law. We should continue to follow up on the issues. We did discuss this in the last session. We asked the administration to report on their progress in promoting such on different levels, and we should continue to follow up on this. We also need to talk about the mental health of students. They may excel in academia, but then if they are very stressed, it is still a problem. So I hope that we can continue to follow up on this as well. Thank you. Ms. Lin Kwok. Thank you. I think there is something that is very important. We really need to review our education system, including manpower arrangements. Now, on integrated education, we really need to discuss the development direction as well, because it has been implemented for about 20 years now. We should really review the effectiveness of such. I hope that we can discuss this at the panel. Thank you. Ms. Lin Kwok, any other members who would like to speak? If not, I thank you all for your valuable suggestions. Following our practice as we did before, the Deputy Chairman and I will meet with the Secretary for Education to formulate the work plan for the panel in this session. And what you propose today, we will strive for them to be included in the list of outstanding items for discussion. If you would like to propose additional items for discussion, you may write to the Secretariat. Now, moving on to the next agenda item, any other business. I have no other business to propose. Do members wish to propose any business? If not, meeting adjourned. Thank you.